You're welcome back. This Face to Face on Channel One Television. My guest is Pius, and I'm Hadzide, spokesperson to Dr. Bryan Acheampong. So, why Dr. Bryan Acheampong in the race of what, 6 people?
5.
5, yes. Why did you choose Dr. Bryan Acheampong to be the one to support?
Well, let me begin by saying that all the 5 distinguished gentlemen who have put themselves forward qualify to be presidential candidate. But I believe that there is one whose marketability stands out and somebody who will get us to where we want to get to in the shortest possible time, i.e. 2028. And that person is Dr. Bryan Acheampong. I believe, for instance, that there's so much tension and friction within our rank and file, which we can trace to the 2023 presidential primaries and its antecedent campaigns. You remember the showdown situations, and you remember the allegations that have been made that certain individuals, their commentary, their actions also accounted for our loss. And so to any honest NPP person, any fair observer, the tensions appear to be between the former vice president and our former flag bearer, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and his most serious contender in the 2023 presidential primaries, the Honorable Kennedy Acheampong. And so you continue to monitor commentary that is coming from even senior members of our party, including regional chairmen. One shudders to think and to wonder, will the other party and their supporters come on board fully to support the other in the event that either of them wins? And I have come to the conclusion that the probability may be there, but very low.
So you see Dr. Bryan Acheampong as a compromise candidate?
As a compromise candidate, as a strategic candidate, somebody who does not have any issues with the Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia camp. He has not promised any showdown. He does not have a problem with the Kennedy Acheampong camp. He has not accused them of being the reason why we lost the 2023 campaigns. And you see, there are traditional lessons that we have picked from home. Sometimes when 2 children are fighting even over a toy or something, it's in contention, sometimes you find that the parent comes and just takes the toy from the both of them, and calm is restored and sanity is brought back. I think that one of our strategic limitations, one of our critical needs is unity, peace and discipline within our ranks. And I have looked at all of the distinguished men who have expressed an interest, and I've come to the conclusion that the person who can really and truly unify this party in the shortest possible time to be able to confront the NDC with an effective campaign, a united party campaign, is Dr. Bryan Acheampong.
But you know, crying wolf where there is none, this same Dr. Bawumia and Kennedy Acheampong contested when the party was in office. That was when we heard the comment of showdown. Kennedy Acheampong lost, Bawumia won. The party didn't break up or disintegrate. It was a healthy internal contest. Why do you think the same thing cannot happen this time?
You may be observing from afar. Disintegration is extreme. We do not wish that even on your worst enemy. But the reality is that if you speak to our party people, our abysmal performance was partly due to the apathy that arose in the party, which some of us have linked to the manner in which the primaries was conducted. But and I believe that
we saw the losing candidates follow Dr. Bawumia on the campaign trail, and they pledged their support, and we saw that happening. So,
well, Sana, I'm saying that we can play the ostrich and bury our heads in the sand and pretend that there was
is
no
that
problem.
what I just did?
Well, but I'm not sure if first of all, you are a member of the party, or that you understand the workings of the party too much.
But I observe.
I don't want to push you from afar. For some of us, it is lived experiences. We are there. And so the party rank and file, the polling station people, the electoral area coordinators, the constituency executives, we know what's happened. We know.
But did they say that this apathy was as a result of one person losing or another?
The apathy was as a result of many things, including tensions and frictions within our ranks.
Was that a huge reason?
It was a huge part of the apathy.
And so you
had instances where people went out to say things that really and truly some of us would not want to repeat on national television. And we know.
But my point is that, so we didn't see Kennedy go. I mean, the only person who left was Alan Chairmantin. And
so that's an example. That's an example that you just brought. And I'm saying that there are things that voters, the NPP delegates, can do today to prevent that kind of situation. And I'm saying that Dr. Bryan Acheampong has no challenges with anybody. And so for him to be the fulcrum around which the party unites is a given. Okay. Nobody will have any challenges.
Okay.
I don't want to get into the ifs and whens and whats and then risk it and lose it. No, okay. I don't want to do that.
But if his biggest trump card is that he's the one who is a middle ground, you can't, if
that's
you go left.
Biggest. I was going to give you a little.
Okay, so I'm saying that if that's a trump card to celebrate or talk about, then you have Kwabena Acheampong. He doesn't also support either of the two.
That is true.
And he could also come around and say he's a middle candidate or the compromise candidate.
That is true.
So that campaign message...
You can actually also say the same for maybe the Honorable Educhum.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that it is not just that.
Okay.
There are many other considerations that
okay, so his personality would matter. Let's talk about his personality first. Then we see
instance, he's the youngest of all of the five. And it is a researched position that as we enter into these elections, young persons want to vote for younger people.
Researched by
yes. Who? Well, you can even check from
a young person on the ballot the last time.
You can even check from Mr. Musa Dankwa, for instance. He will say to you, when he posed the question to young persons.
Do you believe Musa Dankwa now? Well, your party was poo-pooing and laughing at him.
I've never poo-pooed
mocking him.
No, I've never poo-pooed any post. I've always said that these polls are feedback. We should take it as feedback. But I also do know that sometimes these polls can be used as psychological operations. And I said that I did not, when you spoke to me, I did not understand exactly what the methodology of Musa Dankwa was relative to that specific poll. I had to take time to read the literature to find out the methodology, the sample size, and so on, to be able to come to a conclusion. So I take polls seriously as feedback, whatever they may be, because we also do our own polling and we have to do a basis for comparison.
So your belief is that young people want to vote for a young person?
The young people are inspired by young people who have achieved, and Dr. Bryan Acheampong, without that, has achieved. Look, he has created enormous employment opportunities for the young people of our country.
That's what they attribute to Kennedy Acheampong.
Well, if you're looking at that, and it is a plus, but we have a situation where Dr. Bryan Acheampong has done more.
Where? In which industry?
In the building industry, for instance, real estate. If you come into this country, you're looking at the first three big real estate agencies. You hear of the Roho Construction Group.
What construction group?
Roho.
Belongs to Bryan Acheampong.
You come to, yes, it does. You come to the IT space, the biggest software development house in Ghana, into IT, belongs to Dr. Bryan Acheampong. Okay. 1.2 million public and civil servants use his software on a daily basis, not just in Ghana, across the whole of Africa. 8 million people use his software, the handiworks of his Into IT company, on a daily basis. If you come into the hospitality space, the man owns the biggest and most ambitious hospitality program in the whole of Africa. The Rock City brand, the largest hotel by room in Africa, belongs to Dr. Bryan Acheampong.
Was this particular one not tainted by the scandals of the hotel purchase last year or 2 years ago, has that not affected the brand that you are celebrating?
If anything, that brand has been vindicated. You know, recently the management of SNIT and the Deputy Minister of Finance made a revelation that the SNIT hotels were struggling and that they needed a strategic investor. But this announcement was made in 2022. It was that announcement and its subsequent invitation for strategic investors to come on board that made the Rock City brand also get on board. Mind you, the Rock City is an identity on its own. It has its own management and its own board. And so they wanted to participate. In fact, they participated. And my understanding is that the board of the SNIT came to the conclusion that the Rock City brand offered the most responsive and most beneficial proposals in terms of technical and financial. And we were going to create jobs for the young people of our country. That was lost because of desperate politics.
Do you not think that that backlash on the government over that SNIT hotel matter ultimately affected your candidates?
No. I mean, you should know, and I've heard many discerning people reading between the lines and came to the conclusion that this was political propaganda. The exercise that my brother Sami Okujetu and Co were engaged in. What was amiss? That the strategic investor, they would have wished that he went to a Chinese or a Lebanese. I mean, I don't understand. You are doing well, ChannelOne TV. You are doing very, very well. It's a Ghanaian brand. Is that correct? We should disabuse our minds of a certain slave mentality, and that suggests that the Ghanaian cannot do it. Why can a Lebanese come and own and manage, partner, and run our hotels profitably, but a Ghanaian cannot? I mean, that's slave mentality. I think, on the other hand, Dr. Bryan Acheampong should be celebrated for wanting to invest his monies to creating jobs and impacting the economy in Ghana.
So if he did so well in, you've mentioned the real estate sector, you've talked about IT, you've talked about hospitality industry. What other areas has he built businesses and jobs for which people
there are 13 companies to his credit, but 13 companies to his credit, but these three are the most known and talked about. And I'm talking about huge projects. I just mentioned to you hospitality program, not just in Ghana or West Africa, but the whole of Africa.
Well, he owns hotels in other African countries?
I'm saying that the most ambitious hospitality program is in the whole of Africa. Is a Ghanaian brand. That's the Rock City brand.
So these 13 companies, have you done a costing or estimation of how many people he employs?
I know that Dr. Bryan Acheampong pays between 2,000 and 3,000 people on a monthly basis.
So over 2,000 people under his employment?
Correct. In private capacity.
And
that is an inspiration to the young people, because mind you, one of our key concerns as young people of our country is jobs. And we believe that if somebody has been able to conceive big ideas, and not just conception, but actually is able to implement through discipline, to be able to achieve tangible results, that inspires hope and assures the young people of our country that given executive power, given the power of the state, that could be leveraged to impact the young people of our country. But again, he has enormous record in public service. 4-term member of parliament, several ministerial portfolios has he occupied. So apart from private service, entrepreneurship, even in the public space, he is not a novice. You can discuss his output at the Agric Ministry, for instance.
We'll come to agree, but so these 13 companies, did he use the state to set them up?
No.
Because
he couldn't have.
He was accused of using state machinery to buy state-owned property.
No, but
now that I mentioned 13, people will start thinking, okay, he was in power for so many years. Doesn't mean that he used the state to benefit himself.
No. The Rock
he
City
started
brand,
this from secondary school, from university.
The Rock City brand, for instance, was started even before the NPP won power in 2016 and formed government. Somewhere in 2008 was when the Rock City brand was started.
When NPP was in government?
He was not in government at the time. And the Kufuor, he was not even in government. He was a young entrepreneur doing his business. You understand? So, I mean, even within the last 8 years, I'm not sure if Dr. Bryan Acheampong has received a contract from the government. I'm not sure.
He has not
I'm
received.
not sure. No, I'm not sure.
Because he was the one giving contracts out as a minister.
Well, but yeah, so as a minister, he was responsible for a specific sector. And so, yes, not all the contracts in the country was given by him. But I'm saying that Dr. Bryan Acheampong is a successful private entrepreneur. He started his businesses way before he got into public service.
Let's talk about his personal traits. What would endear him to Ghanaians?
The fact that he's very humble, he's focused on his goals, he's a deliverer. He conceives big ideas, and he's able to discipline himself to be able to go through the rigorous implementation process to achieve results. He's a disciplinarian. He will joke with you all right, but when targets are set, they must be met. He's a disciplinarian. He, if I may, he is the no-nonsense type. And so I think that anybody who's worked closely with Dr. Bryan Acheampong knows that he's a go-getter, knows that he's very consultative. He's not a dictatorial at all. Even in the campaign, as he sits at the head of the table, he is able to allow everybody, including persons like me, to make inputs, and he will take it on board if there is wisdom and sense in what you're saying. That is how he does his business. But at the end of the day, when a decision has been made, everybody around the table must commit to that decision, and that's discipline for me. You don't have to go outside the line. You cannot. As communicators and as a spokesperson, every time he has to remind me that if you stoop low, you get into the gutter because other people are doing it, other camps are doing it, throwing insults and jabs and so on. If you do that with me, never mind that I'm in the middle of a campaign, never mind that I need you, I vote too, I have a vote too, never mind that I need you as a voter, I will still discipline you, even if it means that at the end of the day you will not vote for me. So these are the things.
So he will scare people?
Not scare, he will discipline people. And those are, for me, the things I like about my next president.
Let me pick one of the things you mentioned. You say he's humble.
Yes.
I mean, in Ghana, when we talk about politics and we mention humility, Atamils readily comes to mind. Is that the kind of humble Bryan Acheampong is, or which kind of humble is Bryan Acheampong?
The humble that he is that he's the type who will take advice. He would listen. He will argue his case strongly, but he will always yield to better, alternative argumentation. He will give people the benefit of the doubt. And he doesn't judge people on their looks, on their economic or social status.
Okay.
Human beings are human beings in his face. Whether you are a minister or you are an MP or you are a police station executive, is irrelevant to him. You are a human being with God-given potentials. He will engage you at your level.
Okay.
And so
this is his first time. There are others who have gone in the past. Why should he be chosen?
Because he will win for us the power in 2028.
Even though there are others who have been there in the past,
who
have shown good potential, taking you to
I'm not sure about good potential because we can discuss good potential, but in 2024, for instance, we had an unprecedented loss. I mean, not just the quantum of loss, but even the trend. You know that before 2024, anytime we go for elections, presidential candidates secure more votes than the cumulative of all of the parliamentary candidates. That was what happened in Kufuor's time. When Kufuor stood in 96, in 2000, Kufuor had more votes than all the NPP parliamentary candidates put together. When Akufo-Addo came, Akufo-Addo had more votes than all the NPP parliamentary candidates put together. For the first time, NPP parliamentary candidates put together had more votes than the NPP presidential candidate. You take my sister, Honorable Esiama Dokwa, her constituency. She lost about 5,000. As she was mourning her loss, 5,000, we realized that the presidential candidate lost 11,000 in that same constituency. So, you see, if it was just an NPP problem, the presidential candidate would have also lost by 5,000. There were other considerations.
So the candidate was a problem for you in 2024?
Well, there were other considerations. I mean...
So if there are other considerations, fix those ones and repeat the candidates.
Omaru, and I'm saying that, I'm using my words carefully, but the NPP people know, the delegates we are engaging, this is national television conversation. It's not everything that I'll say to you. But if you have a candidate, a presidential candidate score or lost by 11,000 as against his parliamentary candidate who lost by 11,000, that's not normal. That's not okay. Something has to be asked. Some questions will have to be asked.
But there are places where parliamentary candidates win, their presidential candidates lose.
Well, in our country, in our context, that's not been the trend. And I just discussed the trend with you. There were, in the 2024 elections, I've heard people from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's camp argue that we want the presidential candidate beat some parliamentary candidate, I think in about 5 or 6 constituencies. But the details they don't share with us. If you take, for instance, Asin, the honorable member in Tim Forjo's constituency.
Asin South.
Asin South. And if you take Gomua, where the former gender minister, Cynthia Morrison, was MP, there were NPP independent candidates. Cynthia Morrison, for instance, went against Chris Atta. Chris Atta had won the NPP primaries, and Cynthia Morrison was not happy and went independent and pulled votes from Chris Atta. So that is an outlier, and that can be explained. You go to Asin, similar situation. There was an NPP person, a known NPP person, who went independent and drew some votes. So these are outliers. But in about 99% of the constituencies, parliamentary candidates outperformed the presidential candidate. So you cannot just argue that, okay, somebody has done it before, so let's take him. We are guided by the history. The history is that when candidates go, they outperform parliamentary candidates. When they go, they improve on the previous performance. Kufuor performed better than Albert Edubuahen. Kufuor performed better than himself in 2000 when he contested in his performance in 1996. He performed better than that in 2000. Okay, outperformed himself again in 2004. In 2008, Akufo-Addo outperformed Kufuor. And in 2012, Akufo-Addo outperformed himself in 2008. And so you see that there was the trend. You can see that there's an upward movement in the trend. But in 2024, His Excellency, former Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, depreciated the performance, the 6.7 million votes that he inherited, plummeted to about 4-point-something million. He came down. And so we have to take all of these things into considerations and not just say that, okay. And
take into consideration other things, considering incumbency, disadvantage, considering the 8-year
now
period.
It is disadvantage, it's
yeah, it
not
depends.
advantage.
If you've been in power for 8 years, there's a disadvantage that comes with it.
I thought there was also an advantage that came with it.
Yeah, there are disadvantages as well as disadvantages. For instance, they talk about you not satisfying farmers by giving them fertilizer, which is your candidate's forte. We'll talk about that when we come back from this break.
Actually say that? That would be scandalous.
I'll ask you, yes, your candidate's track record at the Agric Ministry. This is Face to Face on Channel One TV. Please stay with us.